Yo, we're diving into the deep end with dog body language. This is such an important part of our dogs' lives. There's more to it than just wagging tails, and it's really going to help you out to know how dogs express themselves. Let's roll. Using my 69 years of professional dog training experience, I'm helping you better educate yourself so you can make better choices when training and raising your pet dog. This is Dog French Kisses. Welcome to Dog French Kisses. Dog body language is an extremely important part of a dog's life because they do so much of their communication with their bodies. And it's not just how they move their tails, ears, and other body parts, but also how they position themselves around whoever they're interacting with. Dogs give us a lot of information from their body language pretty much constantly. So the more we can identify and understand what their body language tells us, the better dog people we can be and the better we can make our dogs' lives. The first thing I want to make clear is that most individual elements of a dog's body need to be combined with other body parts and behavior to really tell us what it means. In other words, we can say what the tail is doing and the ears are doing and the eyes are doing, etc., but putting them all together is what tells us how a dog feels or what it's trying to communicate. And keep in mind that dogs have different bodies, tails, ears, muzzles, and other breed things or breed type things that are going to add nuance and potentially confusion to their communication. Also, since this video is about body language, I'm mostly discussing what dogs do with their body parts and what it means, as opposed to dog behaviors, but it's all behavior. I just want to be clear, there's going to be a lot to it that may not be part of this video. So we'll start with the tail. Everybody knows that when a dog wags its tail, it means it's happy, right? Well, maybe. And let's be honest, that is the case the majority of the time we see it. But just change your definition and it'll be easier to understand. A dog wagging its tail means it's stimulated. So of course, happiness is going to be stimulating and happy dogs wag their tails. But a dog could also be attacking something and have a full-on waggy tail, or be on defense, watching something or barking at something and be wagging its tail. And in addition to the tail is just the butt. It's definitely more of a happy dog thing, but some dogs wag their whole butt along with the tail. Now, if their tail is down, that's a sign that they are unhappy or scared. Sometimes they may be in pain. It can just be down, it can be tucked a little, or it can be tucked tight up under their body. The more tucked, usually the worse they feel. And also with tails is how they carry it. There's a lot of variance with this one, so you'll get the most info from observing individual dogs over time. So a lot of dogs will have their tail up and stiff when they're alert, and maybe when something's popping off, a dominance display or close to a fight or like some problem. Then beyond a stiff, often high tail is just how they carry it generally. Some dogs keep their tail high, some keep it in the middle, some lower, and then when they raise or lower it and how they're moving it will give you more info, when combined with other body language, of course. Generally, a more confident dog will keep its tail higher and lower for a less confident dog, and this will apply both over time for their personality and to what's going on in a specific moment. But we can't just say higher always means this and lower always means that, because dogs carry their tails in their own way. Ears. Dog ears can be very expressive, and just like tails, big changes can give us great info. Ears up or forward is generally alert, and alert can be different things. Maybe they're just listening, maybe they're defensive, maybe they're happy and playing. Some dogs do a sort of sideways ears. I call it quizzical. Maybe they're listening for something interesting. Maybe you're kind of messing with them. And then when they have their ears back or flat, this typically means fear or pain. Basically, they're not comfortable. And the best look for ears is just floppy, normal ears, which is happy and chilling. Next is eyes. What we like to see is just like the last ear one, when eyes are just normal, we want soft eyes. Because when dogs' eyes are hard or staring, that typically means a conflict. When dogs are blinking a lot, this usually means they're stressed or avoiding conflict. If they're actually avoiding eye contact, that's definitely a sign of stress and attempting to avoid an issue. Lots of white in their eyes. A lot of times it's called whale eye. If you can see a lot of white in their eyes, either because their eyes are open really wide and or they're giving you super side eye, this is definitely a sign of stress and you should watch out for potential aggression. Mouth. We usually want to see a relaxed mouth, whether that's open or closed. No tense muscles in the face, just a dog chilling. Another good one is an open mouth smile, like during play or exercise, or they're just hot when they're panting and they got their mouth open wide, but they're still relaxed. Some breeds can literally do an open or closed mouth smile, just like a smiley face shape. Now, a very important, not good one with the mouth is what I call the fake smile. This is when their mouth is open, sometimes panting, but they're tense. This means they're stressed out. For some of us, this look is easy to see, but for a lot of people, it just looks like a happy dog. Try this exercise to help you see it. Look at yourself in the mirror and smile naturally. Laugh or pretend you're taking a photo, whatever. See yourself with a happy smile. Then, act like you're nervous and you're trying to hide it with the smile and overact it, play it up. Then compare those two smiles. Or it also might look like when you smile for a photo, but they're taking too long to snap the pic and your smile starts to get weird, Or another way might be smile with just your mouth mechanically, but don't look happy. And I know this all might sound weird, but this shit is what a lot of dogs look like when they're stressed out, and it's very important to recognize this one. They've usually been forced into a situation, and they don't want to be a bother, so they sort of grin and bear it, pun intended. And often a part of it is another element of body language, which is panting, even without being hot. If a dog is not hot and they open their mouth with that weird fake smile and they start panting, they're definitely stressed out. Lastly, with mouth is one that everybody knows, the snarl, pulling the lips back to show the teeth. It might come with the growl, it might not. It is a sign of potential aggression. Give the dog space, because that's what it needs. Remedy the situation without pushing the dog to escalate. Next, I'm going to go over some more signs of stress and or discomfort in dogs. So generally, we want to see a soft body and soft features, basically a relaxed dog. So if a dog turns its head away, or turns its whole body away, or walks away, these are all like a polite no thank you from a dog. Is it stressed? Maybe, but it's definitely telling us it's not into this. A related one is the random sit, especially facing away from us. It could mean the same thing. It could also mean it's just trying to de-escalate or keep the peace. Now, the looking away or facing away is a really obvious one, but it gets missed by so many people, or they just don't care. Try to respect your dog's communication more, and your relationship will benefit from it. Another one is lip licking or nose licking or sticking their tongue out like a lizard. Different dogs do it differently, but this is a sign of stress and discomfort. And this is another obvious and super common one that a lot of people miss. Sometimes dogs will randomly start sniffing the ground or scratching the ground when they're stressed, and this can be harder to know what's going on, but if you get to know your dog and you observe them in different situations, you'll pick up on it. Also, scratching themselves, same deal. Are they itchy, or are they scratching because they're nervous and uncomfortable? Yawning and shaking off are other ones. Sometimes dogs yawn, or sometimes they do a shake off, like when they're wet, and they do these during or after something stressful. And these are things they do to sort of clear out the stress and try to calm down again. When the hair on a dog's back goes up, this is called piloerection, and it means that the dog is stimulated. Depending on the dog, it could be the hair on the back, the neck, the base of the tail. Sometimes it's just a small patch of hair somewhere. You gotta know the dog. It is usually associated with potential aggression or some kind of problem that the dog has. And I would assume that until you know better about that specific dog. And I say that because sometimes it happens when a dog is just uncomfortable, but other times it happens when a dog is happy. I guess they're overstimulated, but like super happy. A dog lifting their front paw. This might mean the dog is unsure about something, or it could be just appeasement. Appeasement is like an affiliative, submissive gesture. The dog is just saying, "Hi, hello, I come in peace." I might as well go over appeasement and submission now. So appeasement gestures and submission often overlap and confuse people. To some extent, they're the same thing. You are already the dominant one between you and a dog. So don't trip out on that shit. And if you want to know more, watch my video on dominance. Basically, the behaviors are the same, but we overthink it. The dog is showing us that it's not a threat, that we have nothing to worry about. It is submitting to us, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's some dog pack dynamic we need to concern ourselves with. Because it is very often simply behavior that the dog has learned will work to get what it wants. Maybe if it comes in hot, running, jumping, acting wild, we react in a way it doesn't like. So they learn to come slow, show us their appeasement gestures, and things go better for them. Or maybe we've scared or hurt them in the past. Maybe often, maybe just sometimes. Or maybe in specific situations. And so they offer these appeasement gestures to try to avoid that now. So the paw lift is potentially one of these. They may also lower their head. They may lay on their side or back. Sometimes dogs pee a little bit. Again, what these are specifically with any given dog, I can't say here. Submission, appeasement, learned behavior that they feel helps them. Maybe it's a medical issue. It could be any of these, or it could be a combination. On the flip side, dominance. Again, watch my dominance video to get in depth on dominance relationships and how we way overthink them. But the behaviors we might see could be a dog putting its head over another dog's head or neck or body, or simply standing over another dog. They're often a bit stiff and stoic, and we often see the same body language cues that tell us that a problem might be coming. I suggest you interrupt these in a way that doesn't make a fight pop off. And better yet, train your dog well and give it a good life so that it doesn't need to do this stuff to another dog, reducing the risk of issues. If a dog is doing these things to a person, it's also likely behavioral issues that need to be addressed. And if you think that you can't work with them safely because of what you're seeing, hire a good trainer or behaviorist. But like I said before, don't worry too much about dominant behaviors. We have way overemphasized them. A few other things I want to cover that are kind of also body language and behaviors. The play bow. When a dog is trying to entice another dog to play, or even a human or another animal, they might do what we call a play bow. This is when they keep their butt up in the air, but they lower their head and their front half down to the ground with their legs stretched out. It's generally going to be to get some play started, or after a pause to get it started back up again. But they'll play bow or even pray bow in different situations, and they're basically saying,
"I'm ready, let's go."
Another thing dogs do is orient their bodies in a certain way compared to other animals or things. Like I said earlier, a dog may turn its entire body away from you or from whatever thing it's not into. It's clear enough when they turn their head away. But if a dog full-on turns its body away or is even walking away, these are obvious signs that it's not comfortable with something. They also, like most animals, will maintain distance between something that they're not comfortable with. And this one's pretty obvious, but what's important to remember is that humans so often ignore these signs that a dog is not comfortable. But because it's so common and we force dogs into situations so often, we can walk right into a dog bite. And people always say that it came out of nowhere when in reality, the dog gave us signs that we just missed. Or maybe it's not our fault. Maybe this time the dog didn't give us signs because in the past it gave people those signals that it was uncomfortable, but it was ignored and forced to endure the situation. So now it just gave up and it goes from uncomfortable to biting without much change in body language. This is a major issue in our society, ignoring the signals they give us and endangering ourselves and other people in future interactions. Sometimes dogs will orient themselves in between other dogs, people, or animals. It's called splitting, and it's usually meant to keep the peace. If a dog feels like two dogs might fight or they're getting too rowdy playing, they'll walk in between them to try to calm things down. And they do the same with people and other animals too. There might be other reasons as well, jealousy, guarding. And a big dog body language and body orienting thing that everybody should know is curving. Dogs approach each other in a curved way, and they also curve their bodies when they're meeting. A curved body is part of having a soft body. You've probably seen this whether you knew it or not. Dogs sometimes meet and they start circling around each other, making a sort of yin-yang symbol with their bodies. Or if two dogs off leash approach each other from a distance, the natural way they would close the distance while sniffing from afar and observing each other is to approach in a curved way and eventually meet. Unfortunately, we don't see this very often in our society because humans don't meet this way and we don't even move this way. Our streets and our paths tend to go in straight lines. So we end up with a lot more abrupt dog meetings, both meeting other dogs and meeting people or whatever. Dogs are very often thrust right into something without getting the time to use their senses and get a feel of what's going on. And as you can imagine, this gets us a lot of stressy dogs and reactivity. So, just do your best to facilitate better situations as much as you can. I mentioned it earlier, and a really important part of dog body language for certain dogs is the difference in their features. Some dogs don't have much of a tail or ears. Some dogs have really short hair or even no hair. Some dogs have super long hair or different types. These things can make a dog's body language less clear to us and to other dogs. Maybe even not clear or not visible at all. There's all kinds of ways that different body parts or lack thereof can diminish a dog's communication. A great example of this is bully breeds that have both their ears and their tails cropped. We chop off two of their most important forms of communication. I love bully breeds, but I agree with a lot of people. They look scary with pointy little ears and no tail to wag, standing there staring at you. Some people already don't like the muscular, block-headed look, but at least they got floppy ears and a normal tail that we can observe to give us an idea of what's up with that dog. So that's my dog body language overview. Remember a few things as you're learning more. A lot of what dogs do is actually pretty obvious, but it's also often fast and kind of subtle. While we need to know what different body parts do and what that might mean, we also have to combine that with the rest of the body to get the full picture. Be aware of signs of stress and discomfort so you can help dogs instead of ignoring them or making things worse. Besides all the body parts and how they move, dogs also orient their bodies in different ways, which can tell us a lot. That'll do it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Watch my other videos and stay up.